The CS2 market has lost quite a bit of money in the last couple of weeks or so. Now, we should be familiar with most of the underlying reasons guiding this movement, but who gives a shit? These prices that we're seeing right now, and some specifically, aren't going to last very long. Some of them are below where they were before the update that was supposed to make them expensive in the first place. Now, I was going to do a live purchasing on stream yesterday, but I had something come up. Therefore, I'm going to do it tonight instead. Twitch.tv, MikeWater9. But in this video, I'll give you a rough walkthrough of what I'm going to put my money in, or some of the things with similar ideas to what I'm going to speak about in this video. We will range across the market, finding stuff that is undervalued, considering the state of the market and what's going on right now, right? We know that the market's down. Therefore, most things trend down when the market is going down, obviously. But we need to ask ourselves why these things are going down in regards to other things, because the decrease in pricing, of course, is not uniform. If the market is down 20%, it's not like everything in it is down 20%. In fact, most things are up if you look at your inventory specifically. The movement downwards is because of some stuff absolutely cratering. So finding that gap, selling skins maybe that haven't dipped all too much, and buying into skins that did dip quite a large amount, that's the information we need to find such that we can make money in this situation. Because while the market may be down and this poses a good buying opportunity, my inventory is probably break even, maybe even a little bit up over the last month, because I have a few plays that were underpriced and are now being corrected in the market. So what's with the market crash? A lot has happened in the last few months or so. As I've spoken about, every day past April 1st is going to be a rough day for people within this market, because people are eagerly awaiting an update that never showed up, that the market was conditioned to due to Valve's update patterns. But the dip is probably exaggerated at this point. Some prices right now, currently, are below where they were before the market crash in October of 2025. Now, a lot has happened since that October update, even if it feels like yesterday. For one, all cases were discontinued in December. The Anubis collection was removed from the in-game store. We were still figuring out the first terminal, and now we have two. And now the MP7 is the guiding meta in the SMG class as opposed to the MP9. So we have a different landscape to look at this dip and buy this dip in a different manner than we did in October, and I'm confident the market will return back to where it was just as it did back then. And that first point, the divergence between case price and skin price happening right now, is going to be our main thought process carrying us through the first part of this video. Take a look at these graphs. These are all cases that are now discontinued, and you can see it's reflected in its price movement over the last few months or so. Maybe some hype driving it up at certain points, but a general uptrend. But then we look at the graphs of skins within these cases, and it doesn't really reflect the case's movement, does it? And of course, that's not logical. If a case price goes up, it costs more to open. Therefore, less people open it by substituting for a cheaper case. When that happens, listings tend to get a little bit more barren, and then you see price movement upwards. The Recoil case was removed barely a month ago, and the price has reflected its removal from the active drops, nearly doubling from around 35 on its average, all the way up to 70 to 75 cents at its peak in the last week or so. The supply is now capped. Every single case opened removes one from supply permanently. The market has reflected that fact into the price of the case overall, but the skins within it, they still haven't caught up, because there's still a lot of guns in the supply of this case specifically, but that will go away over time. The first one is going to be the AUP Chromatic Aberration in Factory New Condition. This one carries a 0 to 0.7 float cap, and of course it is a red within the Recoil case. Now, unlike the USP print stream, which has stabilized above its pre-discontinuation price, the AUP Chromatic Aberration as of this morning sits right where it was pre-discontinuation. The only difference is that the case now costs double than what it did last month. So the case is now higher priced, and you have a 0.64% chance of getting it from that case when you open it, meaning that the incoming supply of this weapon is going to decrease over time. Because of its float cap, if you're looking to purchase one, try to find one under 0.049 at market price. That is going to trade up into a factory new equivalent. Even though this trades up into gloves, anything under that threshold should be a little bit more valuable than the 0.049 to 0.07 counterparts. This one is a pretty clean, no-brainer type of entry. If the reds within Broken Fang and Snakebite have higher pricing than the Recoil reds, and considering they trade up to the same exact outputs, I would imagine that these reds within Recoil start to trend towards the Snakebite and Broken Fang prices, maybe not all too quickly, but in time. And while the USP print stream, the other red within Recoil, hasn't fallen in the degree as the Chromatic Aberration has, it's because it has more demand outright due to its nature as a popular skin, but it still has fallen quite a bit from its discontinuation price, meaning that this one probably has pretty good legs too, just albeit at a little bit of a higher entry price. Now, interestingly, every blue within the Recoil case has a 0 to 1 float range. As we know, it is extremely rare to get factory new when your gun has a 0 to 1 float range, 3% chance. They've been cheap forever because they were actively dropped, but they're starting to trend upwards and they really haven't fallen all too much from the discontinuation pricing. But because there is such an increased amount of attention on light blues and blues within the market right now, especially in 0 to 1, it could pose itself as a good buying opportunity here. The cheapest ones outright are the Negev Drop Me and the UMP Roadblock. Of course, because these ones don't have any of the present play skin demand that are noticeable within the Glock and M4's pricing, also blues within the case. So those two are just the cheapest entryways possible. And if anything else in the Recoil case goes up, having the blues is a low risk, higher reward exposure to the case. And lastly, we have the AK Ice Cold, which is in the Recoil case, it is a pink. Now the pricing across wares is a little bit different for each one with this specific gun. The factory new prices have stayed relatively stable ever since falling down from its hype at discontinuation, but field tested minimal wear, these skins have steadily trended down since the Recoil case's discontinuation. That's casual money leaving. That's when the market goes down, people are bored, no updates, people leave, play skins go, ops, M4s, AKs, all of this suffer from the same problem of play skins not being demanded as much. But if you zoom out on the AK Ice Cold's chart, and if you zoom out on the AK Slate's chart, which we'll get to in a second, this is just a correction in a very long-term uptrend. This is a very easy buy in my opinion. People are always going to want AK skins. People are always going to want M4 skins. You'll never have any problem getting rid of them either. This is the closest thing to a case that's not a case. Field tested, minimal wear, AK skins. You can even get them in StatTrack because they'll enjoy the same relatively stable gains over time. Buying factory new exposes yourself to the possibility of it being pumped in the future. But if you don't care about that or you don't want to risk your upside on that, go for field tested and minimal wear. You won't be disappointed. And that brings us to the Slate. The Slate enjoys the same benefits as the Ice Cold did, as I just said. Field tested and minimal wear, feel free to purchase some of those if you take a look at the graph. It's even more apparent as the Snakebite has been discontinued for a longer time at this point. The AK Slate is even less rare than the AK Ice Cold because it is a purple, and the fact of it being a purple not only helps the case itself, but it's also 0 to 1, so factory new could be a better buying opportunity here than in the Ice Cold situation. With Recoil gone, Snakebite now has real legs to run in terms of its case price, and once the case price goes up, so will the AK Slate. In the same vein, you also have another covert USP in this case, the USP The Trader, and this one has also fallen quite a bit since that Recoil case discontinuation, right? Even though it's not in the Recoil case, it shares the same gloves, therefore they kind of move as a sector. So this looks like a good entryway for the USP Trader. And we're going to get into the gloves in a second, but first a word from our sponsor, UU Skins. If you're looking for the cheapest, largest inventory from Chinese buyers and sellers, you are going to use UU Skins, the only direct marketplace access for EU and US traders. Shop from an extensive inventory, guaranteed delivery under 10 hours or your money back, and any problems, hit up their support line 24/7, always ready to go, ready to help. Also, try out the UU Happy Shop. Just log in onto the website every day, claim your free points, and after a few days you'll be able to claim yourself a free skin from a rather large selection of items. If you're interested, feel free to scan the QR code right here and try out UU Skins for yourself. Now, we have our sector, Recoil, Snakebite, Broken Fang. These all are the third generation of glove cases. A lot of those gloves are down right now and could pose significant, decent buying opportunities if you look hard enough. Now in general, if you're buying gloves, you kind of want to buy them in minimal wear or factory new condition. Just kind of exposes yourself to the opportunity of it being pumped. If you don't have $1,000 to spend on a minimal wear pair of gloves, don't worry. There's tiers. You can find a minimal wear pair of gloves at around $150 that expose yourself the same way an $1,000 pair would, just albeit not as high tier. Honestly, I still think the best place are the hand wraps because some of them have fallen since the hype surrounding them after the Dead Hand Terminal came out. For example, the Jade gloves have fallen pretty significantly and some of the other hand wraps haven't fallen as much, meaning that the Jade gloves are pretty lopsided in terms of its downtrend right now. The Nox will always be a good play, the Snow Leopards will always be a good play, those are popular, although watch out for the snow leopards specifically, as well as the slingshots. And I say that because while they are pretty popular gloves in their own right, they have been replaced sort of in the 4th generation. The red racers and the pillow punchers kind of do what they did to a certain degree. Therefore, a substitution effect is going to take place and just kind of lower prices overall. Even if it does recover, it probably won't recover to the price in which it was before. So factor that in when you're looking at the gloves, but in general, they do seem a tad bit underpriced right now. Now, you may be thinking, what if the market keeps going down? Well, yeah, it might, dickhead. No one's going to be able to predict the bottom. If they did, they got lucky. That's it. If you're scared it's not the bottom, don't inject all of your money at once. Do it once a week. If you want to spend $100, don't spend $100 today. Spend $50 today, $50 next week. Time yourself. Make sure you could time the bottom as best as possible. What we're talking about right now are skins that have gone down more on average than the actual market itself, meaning that once the market goes up, these ones will benefit more lopsidedly than the other ones. Now, those were plays that were mathematically underpriced due to the case underlying movements, but of course, collection skins do not enjoy that math because they do not come from cases. In fact, their supply is locked and locked forever, meaning that they should just appreciate over time, and they do in general, but they always have pullbacks, especially when the market is in a downtrend. So that poses a pretty good opportunity for collection skins that have gone down more so than the market has. Now, the first collection is the Norse collection. The Norse collection did get a decent amount of buying attention over the last few weeks or so, but it has since gone down, and it has gone down pretty significantly. Take one look at the Gungnir's price over the last month or so, and you can see it's fallen around $1,000, from around 9K to around 7.8. So if you have that money, you could buy one of those, but that's not necessarily the point of that price movement. The point of that price movement is that once the Gungnir goes down, every single input from pink all the way down to light blue also goes down to reflect that price movement. The Desert Eagle, the Emerald Jormungandr, whatever the fuck it's called, that one's down $200 from around $1,100 to $900. Right, the Norse collection didn't get any less rare, it's just the market's in a fucking downtrend. Feel free to buy one of these. It looks like a very good purchase right now, and it's a great play skin. It's very beautiful in its own right. Doesn't necessarily even have to be a trade-up filler. Another one in the same vein is the M4A1S Moss Quartz in factory new, also in minimal wear. This one's a little bit more nuanced because I do think the price movement has to do with the new M4 Electrum in the Dead Hand terminal coming out and sort of replacing it in a way for a viable green skin for the M4A1S. But that's not the proposition with the M4 Moss Quartz anyway, right? It's not supposed to be a beautiful, awesome, amazing skin that everyone loves. It's more so just a rare discontinued skin that people like to have in their inventory, right? It's really not a trade-up filler because it's super expensive and there's other skins within the same rarity tier that are much cheaper and much easier to use as inputs. That's why also minimal wear might not be too terrible of a play here. The minimal wear one is down quite a bit in the last month or so, and once the hype comes back to the market, I think you'll see money put right back into the Norse collection, and you'll see your money go up steadily with these weapons in specific. And the last collection is graphic design. Now, graphic design is very weird. It's gotten a lot of attention over the last few weeks, but only in very specific places. As we've talked about, the MP7 Astrolabe has gone from around $150 to $20 in the last 3 to 4 months or so, I believe. Right? We up. That's why my inventory ain't down right now. Remember Graph 2 that came out, I don't know, a week ago, dickheads? The poly soup that went up to $5,000 is now back to its pre-update price, right? The gun still looks exactly the same. Graph 2 is still coming out. You could buy it right now for the price you were trying so desperately to buy it at 2 weeks ago. The only thing that changed right now is the hype and the market surrounding the M4 poly soup. So you have yourself a pretty decent buying opportunity right here, right now. If you're not privy, the Graph 2 update updated the visuals of the M4 poly soup, giving it back its signature hollow effect that was present when it first came out, but it was since removed from the game for seemingly no reason. In the same vein as the Slate and Ice Cold, the AK Crossfade in the graphic design collection just seems a little bit underpriced. It has a 0 to 0.55 float cap, meaning that you want to look for under 0.04 for a trade-up value to the M4 poly soup. But again, minimal wear and field tested doesn't seem like a terrible play. It kind of just goes up as demand for AK skins always goes up and is always present within the market, especially during times of hype and times of player growth. And lastly, a quick aside, the Armory, we all know it's flying down right now. You could panic all you want. I would hold and not purchase more from the Sport and Field collection. However, I would probably buy more from Train 2025. That's what I'm going to look at tonight specifically to see if there's anything that has gone down like way too much. Because that one's only been in the game for a year and it just simply ain't redeemed. So it's not like it's any more common than it was 3 weeks ago. No one fucking redeems that collection. That one is going to be very good. I'm going to take a look at that one specifically. Overpass might be a little bit worse, maybe more of a hold than a buy, but if there's any underpriced skins specifically. However, I'm not as keen to move in on that one as I am to move in on Train 2025. Sport and Field I probably won't look at. I'll probably just keep the ones I have in my inventory already and then just leave it be. I get it, the market's red, your inventory's red, and you're not feeling good about it. That's fine. I'm also not gonna tell you it's gonna bounce tomorrow, because who the fuck knows when it bounces, but it will bounce. Discontinued cases don't undiscontinue. Discontinued collections don't undiscontinue. Float caps stay the same. Float caps keep guns rare. Don't worry about it. Make the right plays. Make the smart plays. Don't try to get all your money back in one move. And you'll be just fine here and everywhere else in the market or where you may find yourself in the future. But I will tell you, every time the market is like this, there's always a good time to buy. And then no one buys. And then when it goes back up, you wish you bought. So that's what I'm going to do. You don't have to follow me. You could follow me. I don't give a fuck. Later.